I will go on the record to say 90210 is the messiest and the most chaotic teen show you will ever watch. Typically when we're talking about teen shows like TVD, Gossip Girl, and Pretty Little Liars usually comes up, but no one ever brings up 90210, and I think there's a generation out there, God forbid, that has never seen an episode of this show, and my job today is to break down just how insane and messy this whole TV show was. Of all the teen shows I watched as a teenager, 90210 had the biggest impact on me. I don't know about you guys, but this show actually made me change my life, and I'm gonna get into that later on. If you're new here, hi, my name is Janice. I am a screenwriter. If you've never heard of 90210, 90210 is actually the reboot of Beverly Hills 90210, the TV show that came out in the 90s. This show is better. 90210 is a reboot that is better than the original. All you need to know before we get started is the show follows a bunch of teenagers who go to Beverly Hills High School. Like every other teen show, we get to see these teenagers experience love for the first time, see how they deal with friendships and relationships, and also get to see the complicated relationships they have with their parents. But because this is based in Beverly Hills, you already know this is not your ordinary teen show, okay? These kids are driving the most expensive cars and wearing Chanel to school. Like, it makes no sense, which is why it's so captivating to me. In their cafeterias, they don't have plastic spoons and plates, y'all. They have real cutlery, breakable plates, and even porcelain teacups. Now that you're ready, we can dive into the chaotic world of 90210. The most important person you need to know in this show is this girl right here. Naomi, to me, is one of the most beautifully written female villains of all time, and here's why. You guys know how in teen shows there's usually like the nice girl and then the mean girl? When you see Naomi for the first time, your first thought might be, oh, that's the mean girl. But as the show progresses, you're like, wait, no. She's actually really kind and cares about the people around her. But one thing about Naomi is she will never forgive you if you cross her. She's not only that, she's very well developed throughout the show and actually has dreams and goals, and you actually care for her and want to see her succeed. Personally, I am deeply in love with her fashion on this show. Like, this girl, what she wears is literally like what my dream closet would be, like even today. Her style has honestly stood the test of time. So who exactly is Naomi? She's a queen bee of Beverly Hills High, and she's dating this guy who honestly makes no sense, because look at him. Like, take a moment and look at this man and look at her. Like, it literally does not add up. The entire time I was watching this, I was like, I don't believe this relationship, because there is no way. You might think, oh, Janice, maybe he just dresses not that well. You know, maybe it's in the personality. No, this man has no personality. He makes very corny dad jokes, and that's it. You might say, oh, Janice, maybe it's because he's rich and she's rich. It's a status thing. Look at what he's wearing. I do not remember meeting his parents throughout the show, so I don't think he's that wealthy, to be honest. So it's not the money. He's like captain of like the lacrosse team or whatever. I almost did not put him on this wall, to be honest with you guys. That's how much I did not care about this man. I honestly don't know what his name is, so we're just gonna call him this man. These two are running Beverly Hills High. These two show up, right? So this is Annie. Annie is the quote-unquote nice girl. It's very interesting that they named her Annie, because she acts like little orphan Annie. Like, she plays victim all the time, and I don't fall for it. It literally makes no sense what she gets upset about and like things everyone's trying to get her. So she and her adopted brother move to Beverly Hills because their dad gets a job as the new principal of Beverly Hills High. They're originally from Texas and they will not shut up about it. They show up to Beverly Hills High, and on day one, Annie sees him cheating on her, and we get to find out that they had met before, because her grandmother is like a B-list, C-list type actress. And so she would always come to Beverly Hills to spend time with her grandmother when she was a kid. And when she showed up one summer as a kid, she and him like shared a kiss on the boardwalk one evening. It was romantic. And I guess like when she sees him, those feelings start flooding back or whatever. But she literally sees him cheating on her. And so she basically tells him like, hey, you have until like tomorrow to tell your girlfriend that you cheated her, because your girlfriend has been really nice to me. Mind you, the first time Annie and Naomi meet, Naomi is pretty nice to her. She's like, oh, like, where are you from? Blah, blah, blah. Like, they're laughing. So Annie feels a little bit of like, you know, allegiance to Naomi because Naomi has been so nice to her. We come to find out that deep down, she was really upset because she wants to get with him. Like, I don't know why these two beautiful women are fighting over this. This is Dixon. Dixon was adopted into Annie's family when he was 8 years old, so they were pretty close. Honestly, I really appreciate and like love their relationship. Like, it seems like a typical brother-sister relationship. It's just like really heartwarming when you watch both of them together. Like, it's so cute. He actually has like a really sad past. Like, his parents neglected him as a kid, and so he has to be put in the system. These are the parents. All this time, their dad is the principal at this school. Adriana is a singer. She is an actor, and she's actually been in a lot of like TV shows and movies, and she's still in high school, but her story story is honestly like one of the saddest things ever. Her mom basically is her manager and will like suck this girl dry of everything she has because she wants her to be famous one day and to like take over Hollywood. Like she gets addicted to drugs. Like in the first episode we see her like this girl cannot open her eyes. Like she's so messed up. Her eyes are always swollen. She's always coming to class like drowsy and like you can tell she's been on drugs. Whenever they confront her about it, she's like, no, I'm not using blah 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 blah. Adriana is like BFFs. Like her and Naomi are like sisters. Like they have this really cute like matching tattoo, and also they have like necklaces that they exchange with each other whenever they need like good luck. They're like, oh yeah, we haven't exchanged necklaces in a while, like let's exchange necklaces for good luck. It's the cutest thing. Sorry, that was so loud. It is the cutest thing though. And also we get to find out that this girl right here, Silver, right? Let me give you a little bit of background on our girl Silver. You guys know that meme of like not like other girls, like oh she's so not like other girls. Like look at this. She is the epitome of a girl who does not like to be compared to other girls. Every 2 seconds, I do not kid you, she's always like, you know I'm not like other girls, right? I'm not. I'm like, we don't want the recipe to your mom's chicken peach cobbler, okay? Like we don't need that. Every single episode, this girl will remind us like, yeah, I listen to rock music, I don't go to prom, like I don't wear girly things, I wear like black boots, and like this is her. That's why she wakes up in the morning, to be not like other girls. Silver basically befriends Annie, and Silver starts telling Annie like, hey, you shouldn't be friends with Naomi because Naomi is like a snake. Annie is like, what? Like she's been so nice to me. Like what do you mean Naomi is a snake? We find out that Silver and Naomi used to be BFFs, and they also have identical tattoos. They were BFFs literally when they were like toddlers. One day Silver comes to Naomi and like confides in her that her dad was cheating on her mom, and she didn't want anyone in school to find out because her parents were going to get a divorce, and she really thinks that if anyone outside of their family finds out, that's going to send her dad down like a dark alcoholic, you know, mess. So she confides in Naomi, and Naomi basically goes and tells the entire school that her parents are getting divorced and that her dad cheated, and so everyone finds out. She has very strong feelings against this woman right here. I mean, for good reason. I honestly understand, but like Naomi's my girl, like she can do no wrong to me. I honestly don't believe that story. Like, when she explained it, I was like, okay, yeah, sure, girl. Honestly, now I'm thinking about it, maybe she doesn't want to be like other girls because she knows she will never get to Naomi's level, and that like pisses her off. Personally, I see that too. Like, I know I will never be at her level, and part of me is like sad about that. One thing about 90210 is they do not save plot lines for later. I'm rewatching the first season right now, and the amount of storylines that they packed in one season is something that I think would be like 10 seasons on the TV show that will come out today. They're not saving like big reveals for like 10 seasons down the line. They literally like show it the next episode and you're like, oh, okay, I love that. Like literally these two weren't talking for 2 episodes and then like by episode 3 they were like BFFs again. Like I love that. So Dixon starts dating our guy's girl over here. Their relationship is honestly very cute, but there are some points where Dixon feels like she doesn't understand his blackness. Like one time, one black girl at their school invites him to like a hip-hop party at her house, and he basically doesn't tell her because he feels like she's gonna think the girl was like trying to get with him, but deep down he just really wanted to like connect with other people who were black, because look at this wall, like he's the only black person here. Like his whole house is white people. Naveed is honestly a sweetheart, but he does have tendencies to like be a little bit of like an incel if he's not careful too much. Like if you look at him a little bit too much, you might be like, oh, incel attitude. In the middle of the first season, Adriana has an overdose. We find out that she's in a rehab, but she doesn't know who's paying for the rehab because her and her mom don't got money. Like her mom is literally about to lose their house. Even though this girl has been in TV shows, like they are broke because her mom likes to live the high life. We later find out that Naveed's parents paid for her rehab, and this is not just some little dinky rehab, okay? This is literally the top rehab in California. A-list celebrities, rock stars are being committed to. Like this is where they go. And so we find out that Naveed's parents are in the adult entertainment industry, and that's why they're so rich. Like they're so rich, I've never seen, like, their house alone looks like a kingdom. He basically convinces his parents to pay for this girl's rehab because when they were like 2 years old, they were friends or whatever. He reveals to her like, oh, I really like you, I've liked you since we were kids, but like you grew up and you became really cool, and so we stopped really talking. And so she basically feels like she owes him now, right? Because this guy paid for her rehab, for her to get better. And so she becomes like a yes girlfriend to him. Like anything he says, she's like, yeah, let's go do it. And he's like, oh, I know I paid for your rehab, but like you don't have to do everything I say. Like that's not the kind of guy I am. But honestly, you would think he is, because some of the things he does is just like a little bit too try hard. But deep down, you know, he's a sweetheart. Like he's a really good guy. But about 2 months into them dating, we find out that Adriana is pregnant and she does not know who the baby daddy is. And this was like before they met. And so she tells him, literally this guy is like, yeah, I don't think I can do this. Like, I'm out. Like, no explanation. I'm like, dude, calm down. Like, it's not, like, I get it, but also, like, give it some time. Now let's talk about Mr. Matthews. So he is their teacher, and of course, as you can see, he is very young. I googled how old he was when he was on the show, and he was only 24 years old, which is like mind-boggling to me. He basically starts dating Silver's older sister, who is a counselor at their school, and then she basically breaks up with him and like breaks his heart, which was honestly kind of sad. She was still in love with her ex, and she also had a baby with her ex, and she was like, yeah, I'm waiting for my ex to like come back and like we're gonna get married. It just seemed very random to me, but I was like, okay, like go do you, girl. This might abandon you and your child, and you're still out here waiting for him to come back and care for you, but whatever. A new student gets assigned to his class, and with every interaction they have, we get the feeling that this new student is like maybe trying to like flirt with him a little bit. He basically goes to her and is like, hey, look, like you're a minor, I'm your teacher, this is never gonna happen, so you need to like stop. But does she listen? No, she doesn't. Later on, we find out that that student wasn't actually a student. She was an undercover cop who was trying to like uncover and trace where all the students were getting drugs from. It was like a 22 Jump Street undercover type job. So him and that student slash cop start hooking up while she's still going to the school and being undercover. And one of the douchiest guys in the school finds out, and he basically like exposes him to everyone, being like, oh, this teacher is like sleeping with a student, blah blah blah. And so the principal basically has to fire him, because he's like, look, like this investigation is super important and we cannot really risk, you know, anyone finding out who this woman is and blah blah blah. I'm like, this literally makes no sense. Like this man is gonna be humiliated, there's gonna be articles written about him and like basically tearing him down, and he might never work again just because you guys are doing an undercover story. It made no sense to me. Like I felt so bad. Like they literally destroyed this man. Like at 24 years old, imagine. The man used to have some life. Like he had like vigor to him, and then when that happened, he literally looked like a sewer rat. As the show progresses, there's more characters that come on, but these are the core like pilot characters. One thing I wanted to mention is the actress who plays Naomi actually made a post online talking about how she had DID, which is dissociative identity disorder. So she has split personalities, and she did like a short film on her Instagram where she talks about how all of her characters, including this character, was a split personality. And I cannot watch the show the same after this. I can't, because she's so good in this role. Like I think she was born to play this role, and I hopefully like want to see her in something else. Like honestly, she was on my Tumblr board, my Pinterest board, and every single board. Like her and Serena van der Woodsen were my queens.